is there any recognition, to use a seasonal metaphor, turkeys don't vote for Christmas, and is there any recognition, because I don't think there appears to be on the part of the European Union, that if addressing the climate emergency, which we absolutely have to, is going to seem like punishment for huge sections of the population, that they're just not going to vote for it. They're not going to buy into it, and worse, they're going to react against it. And it's a noticeable fact, by the way, that the far right, who I mentioned, who are worryingly on the rise across Europe, one feature of the far right today is that they're climate change deniers. If we're going to take these people on, we have to pull the ground from under them by ensuring that life is going to be better for people by addressing the climate emergency, which, by the way, it should be. But Europe has to recognise, if it's going to win people over to that, and I don't see any sign of it, but maybe the Minister can cheer me up on this front, that it needs to address these things. And the most obvious things are the quality of life for people. Right? So I mentioned pensions. How is the attack on people's pension entitlements right across Europe going to endear people to the agenda of Europe? How is the fact that wage share all across Europe as a proportion of national income is falling and falling consistently, how does that endear people to the European project in terms of climate change? And in particular, a very specific question, is there a recognition that state aid rules and market rules need to be changed, challenged, or indeed abandoned in many cases in order to actually implement a just transition approach to the climate emergency? Just one other brief question I have, Minister, which I didn't mention earlier, but is on the specific issue of Palestine. And this has been discussed somewhat over the last few weeks, but I just want to ask again. Israel is just acting like a complete, rogue state in terms of its treatment of the Palestinians. The latest now, after the move to effectively annex East Jerusalem, they're moving to annex parts of Hebron. They're now talking. Netanyahu is talking about annexing the Jordan Valley, right? And this just goes on and on. Ethnic cleansing is the only way to describe it, and yet there's no action coming from Europe to sanction Israel. Indeed, they continue to treat them as a preferred trade partner. Is there any serious discussion about taking any action? I mean, Taoiseach always says, oh, well, there's states in Europe who just won't tolerate sanctions. But I don't see the debate.
Thank you, Deputy.
So if Ireland is actually, speaking up about this, where is the debate? What is the response of those who are resistant to imposing sanctions on Israel for its flagrant breach of human rights?